Hello, Highlanders! I'm Seth Myers, this is Isaac Solnick, and welcome to Highlander Hot Talk Basketball. Today we're going to be going over men's basketball, women's basketball, and then some spring sports at the end, just to recap the week while basketball is still going on. But soon we'll have a spring sports dedicated episode coming out. So, yeah, here we go. Isaac, what do we got coming up today?
Well, we got men's and women's basketball. They play Cal State Bakersfield and UC Davis on Thursday and Saturday, and then we got some spring sports coming up after that. But I know you got a player of the day for me.
Yeah,
you?
No, I got a player of the day for you before we jump into men's basketball. All right. What should I give you? Okay, I'll give you favorite teams are the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. Favorite athletes are Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and SGA.
Okay.
Favorite movies are The Dark Knight, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, The Departed. Favorite TV shows are Seinfeld, Regular Show, and The Office. And if you need any more, I'll give you more in a second. But I want to see who you got after that.
Okay, so you said favorite teams were Celtics and Knicks. Is that right? Okay. So it's kind of East Coast bias here. I feel like all of our guys are from the West Coast.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go international here. My first guess is Ben Waller.
Woo! Right off the bat, got Ben Waller. I was going to give you some high school stats. Like, I had to leave out one of his favorite teams is Melbourne United.
Okay, that would have been,
yeah. Gotten that real quick.
Absolutely.
And then played at Lavala Catholic in Australia. Served as captain of the Marist basketball team. So that's fun. Let's go back into the game against CSU's Bakerfield. It's another one of those days, Isaac. Can't speak English. CSU Bakersfield at UC Riverside the other day. What to talk about? There's a lot to unfold in this game. BJ Cawley had a great game. Obviously, Andrew Henderson had a great game. Ben had a great game. Marquis had a pretty good game. What do you want to start with here?
I mean, I don't know where we can start because I felt like every guy that came on the court made an impact in that game and a very positive impact. I thought from top to bottom, I think in the past we've seen men's basketball, right? Just kind of a lack of depth has really kind of hurt the team down the stretch in some of these big games. But I thought in this game, everyone that came in, Ben Waller, Tyler Jones, Dylan Godfrey, coming off the bench, they played a huge part in the win against Cal State Bakersfield, and that's why the score was as lopsided as it was, with it being 93-65.
Yeah, no, I definitely think I got to call that game. By the way, just shout out to myself. ESPN, I was on ESPN, kind of surreal. But let's talk about. I want to talk about Tyler Jones. I got to interview him in that game. He had 2 big threes at like near the end of the second half. Or first half, dude, he put those down from way downtown. I don't know if you remember that. He was probably like 34 feet away from the basket.
Those are big shots. Yeah, and I remember I think both of those came off Cal State Bakersfield 3 too, and it was just like it was one of those ones where we had to lead the whole game, but Cal State Bakersfield were kind of like staying with it for a little bit, and then every time they would kind of hit a 3, like. It was Tyler Jones right there, or Andrew Henderson, or Marquis Worthy with an answer.
It's weird to say that there was a dagger so early in the game, but when he hit those threes back to back almost, it was like there's no way Bakersfield is coming back right now, because at that point they were up by like 15, 20.
Yeah.
And I mean, when he knocked down those threes, it's like you cannot have another UCR player getting hot, and then I'm pretty sure for the rest of the game he was just like threatening, like hey, I could just go off and shoot some threes right now. But they really controlled the game after that. There was no need for like deep threes anymore.
Absolutely, and I think they had Cal State Bakersfield kind of playing at their pace of play, especially considering how early of a lead that we jumped out to. Obviously, like we said on this podcast before, with an Arginal team, it's going to be full gas all 40 minutes. And Cal State Bakersfield, they played at a bit of a slower pace, and I think they were just kind of uncomfortable. They didn't feel settled at all in that game. At a certain point, if you're Cal State Bakersfield, Dalen Smith free throws, is only going to get you so far. They only shot 9 3-pointers, only 9 attempts in that whole game, and every time they like you said, every time they got a bucket, it just felt like they were never coming back after they fell down early.
Need to mention Ben Waller, the mullet marauder off the bench. I mean, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal. What a stat line off the bench. And that's what Gus has been looking for this whole season. A guy who can come off the bench and really contribute. It's just like, unfortunately, it just came a little too late in the season. 26 points off the bench from the whole bench is really, really good. That's what you look for early in the season. Another guy I want to shout out, EJ Spillman. He came in the end of the game. And, dude, that little glimpse of, like, what we see next year, I mean, dude, the way he moves with the ball, being that big and just that, like, powerful, driving inside, and then also having...
This guy's a true freshman, by
dude,
the way.
Yeah.
And he's that strong.
No,
he's moving
go
Big
back
West
and watch that game.
veterans around.
His handles are crazy for a guy who's that big and that powerful. Like, he should not be playing like a center on defense and then playing like a shifty guard on offense with a close-in bag. Like, that's crazy. But I kind of want to move on from the CSU Bakersfield game. As fun of a game as it was, the next one I want to talk about is definitely the UC Davis game. It was an L, but it was just an exciting watch.
Yeah, Ben Waller got his first start in that game, so I was really excited to kind of see what he did. Going back to that Bakersfield game where he had 2 blocks, I thought he almost had 5. He had like 3 personal fouls there, and I'm not saying, I'm not trying to put too much criticism on the refs in that game, but maybe in another universe, on another day, those fouls, they let those ones go, and those go as blocks. I thought he could have had 5 blocks in that game, and I thought he turned out another really good performance against UC Davis.
Yeah, I mean, definitely in that Bakersfield game, the refs were actually letting him play a little bit there. If you didn't watch that game, it did get kind of physical. Not like there was a fight or anything, but they were playing hard out there, especially 2 teams who were trying to stay in playoff contention. But then, Ben Waller in his debut start against UC Davis, 10 points. He had 5 rebounds and a block and a steal in 32 minutes. That's a good stat line, especially for a guy who you want to start next year, who's like a power forward. He's a big 3 or like an average 4 type of build, and he can knock down the 3. He can move in the paint. We've obviously see he can dunk. He's electric with that stuff. So that's what you want to see from him.
Yeah, no, not just Ben Waller, but I like to see Dre kind of find his rhythm now, yeah. And it's so disappointing, right? Because we missed him for such a big part of the season earlier, and we lost a lot of close games during that stretch, and it just makes me wonder that, like, if we had them for those games, like, he could have turned some of those really like 1, 2, 3 point, 4 point losses into some wins for UCR, and unfortunately, they kind of went out of Big West contention after this one, but. Again, Petit, still a sophomore. Ben Waller, like you said, still a freshman. These are guys that are going to start, in the starting lineup next year, and kind of gives you a glimpse of kind of what we could see in the future.
Yeah, no, I mean, one of the best things about college basketball that I love is that even when your season is technically like considered over by playoff contention, right? UCR is eliminated, but you've still got guys trying to look for an NBA contract, right? Henderson, Cauley, you've got I know I was talking with JDD, and he said that because his arm is injured, he wants to try to come back for another year. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that, but I really hope he does, because he was great right before he got injured. But, like, the season isn't over. You've still got to develop guys for next year. You still got to, like, push guys for the draft. Like, you want that type of thing. You want these guys to get, signed and be able to watch them at the next level. So it's good to see that even though playoff contention is done, guys are still going to be playing as hard as they can, right?
Absolutely, and you can really see the program building that Coach Argino is doing, right? Obviously, like we said, UCR, we're kind of, behind when it comes in resources, some of these other Big West schools, and although the record says 4-13 right now for men's basketball, I think in the future going forward, I'm really excited for next year's UCR men's basketball team.
Yeah. I mean, some of the stuff that I want to point out is Dylan Godfrey, 10 points in that game against UC Davis. Pretty close game, obviously, 78-73. That's 5 points. That's 2 buckets right there. But, I mean, the takeaway is just that we know that they can ball. We know that the guys can ball. If Andrew Henderson doesn't get signed to an NBA contract, we ride at dawn. But I want to talk about this UC Santa Barbara game coming up. I know the last game was actually...
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, and that was a close one. Yeah. Especially if you watch that in person, it was a lot closer than the score looked.
It was a game. It was a game where we thought we were going to win for about 30 minutes.
I had all my notes ready to go for an interview, but it's the same game as it was like a week ago. Same type of vibe. Definitely want to take UCSB down a notch just because, I don't know, it's fun. Let's see if the Highlanders can knock off some guys and put them a little bit lower in the standings. That's kind of what you're going for now, and you want to develop your guys, right? You're going to see Tyler Jones probably play a little bit more. You're going to see Ben Waller play a little bit more, as we've seen. You want BJ Colley and Andrew Henderson to get that last little like push towards.
Put some more film on tape.
Yeah. And that's going to be good. They're going to kind of let them off the leash a little bit. Hopefully, I wouldn't be surprised. But hopefully that kind of all comes together for them there. And then UC San Diego. I mean, you want to take that game so bad.
Absolutely.
You've been close with them twice, and it's like.
Or you mean Cal State Northridge?
Oh my gosh, yeah, Cal State Northridge. I was looking
Saturday.
at the wrong game. I was looking at the game after the first UC Santa Barbara game.
Yeah.
But Cal State Northridge. Last time that actually kind of turned out not as I expected it to, but I still think that there's some room for knocking them down a peg there too.
Yeah, no, these are some tough games, right? After the Cal State Northridge game, they got to go to Hawaii and play the Rainbow Warriors there. But, I think it's great. It's a great test for a lot of these younger guys, right, going into next year and just to bring some momentum into the 2026-2027 season, right? Like you said, look for Tyler Jones, look for EJ Spillman to get more minutes, look for Dre Petit, and, not just kind of Andrew Henderson kind of put in film on tape, but a lot of these younger guys to get momentum and just get some confidence and get some more experience and just so they can hit the ground running come next year.
If you're Gus and your last game is in Hawaii and you know that you don't have anything after that, are you just like, guys, let's stay here for a little bit. Let's rein it in, dude.
Absolutely.
That's a tough season. Stay in Hawaii for like a few extra days, go to the beach and stuff. Hopefully we get to hear about that later.
Yeah, no, the guys got the student athletes got finals though the week after, but so they can't stay too long. But I wouldn't mind
stay until Saturday.
If I won the guys, stay till Saturday, maybe Sunday, stay till Sunday, fly back on a Monday.
No, I mean I definitely think that's something that I would do. Even if I wasn't traveling back, I would stay there. I'd be like, dude.
I bet Hawaii's nice in March, early March.
Oh
That's
yeah.
A great time to go
yeah.
Hawaii.
No, for sure. I've been in late February and it's beautiful there too. But let's move on to the girls. All right, women's basketball. Let's do player of the day. All right. Let's see what I should give you. I feel like you're gonna.
You think I'm gonna have a hard time with this one?
No, you're gonna get it so quick.
Okay.
All right. Favorite teams are France national team and PSG. Favorite movies are Princess and the Frog, The Avengers, and K-pop Demon Hunters.
I love Princess and the Frog. Love that movie.
Favorite TV shows are White Collar, Hunter x Hunter, Hitmakers. Choose, bro, it's so bad. I actually can't speak English today. Chose UCR because it was more of a feeling that I knew as soon as I came to visit here, the place and the people, and it's close to home, and that's always a benefit.
Okay. So
I think I know who you were thinking at first, though.
Okay. So my mind went to Geneva Sila at first when you said PSG and France. She's still my first guess, I think. After you said, why this player picked UCR, with it being close to home, considering she played for San Bernardino Valley College before she came here. So I'm going to stick with that guess.
Are you sure?
Yes. Locked in.
All right, so you messed up on the first one. I really thought that you were gonna get this, but we'll throw in some high school stats.
Okay.
Went to Windward School in Los Angeles. Ranked number 11 in the Silver Waves Media Top 100 SoCal Southern California Girls Top 100 rankings as a senior. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah. Give me a little bit more.
Named to the All-CIF Southern Section team and a first-team All-League as a senior, and chosen second-team All-CIF and All-League after averaging a double-double as a junior, and then won a CIF championship during junior campaign. Selected as one of the top 50 juniors in the Southern Section in 2020. So that gives you something.
Okay.
2021 graduate.
I'm a little stumped.
Competed for the track team at Windward.
What were her favorite teams again? Going back to the very beginning, it was PSG.
France National
France
and
National,
PSG.
okay. Oh man. I'm sorry, let me take a look at the roster real quick.
I really thought you were gonna get this right off the bat, just because I'll let you know. You know who this is.
I know who this is.
Like we talk about her all the time.
We talk about it all the time. Okay. Is it Michaela Minshaw?
Nope.
No. Okay. I thought you were gonna hit me Ozzy, Ben Waller to Michaela Minshaw. You gave me Kaylani Polk. You gave me Kaylani Polk last week, so that I thought because you said L.A. I thought Kaylani Polk. Oh my goodness. We talk about her all the time.
Yeah.
Is it Shelly Dushman or?
Yeah,
okay.
It is.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. We always talk about her, but with her not playing, she wasn't the first player that came to mind.
There were some interesting things in here.
France national
team in PSG.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
really? Okay.
And then Princess and the Frog, the Avengers and K-pop Demon Hunters, and then Hunter x Hunter is crazy. Like that's a I didn't know that about her, and that's just crazy. And then competed in high jump.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess that's not surprising because she's a basketball player, but like track, and then obviously I knew
track was surprising.
I knew that she was like a very high rated recruit coming out of high school.
I think the double doubles, the fact that she averaged a double double in high school, I think that helped.
But I thought that you were gonna get that right off the bat.
Really, I think the France national team threw me off.
I know that's such a curveball.
Yeah,
I feel like she did that on purpose. She knew that we were gonna do this. All right, let's talk about the games though. CSU Bakersfield, that felt gritty for sure. That felt like, I mean, you want to call it a battle. I always call it a battle, but that one actually felt like a battle. 62-58. Hannah Wickstrom with 24 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists.
Is it weird for me to say that 24 points feels low for Hannah Wickstrom?
No, because she averages 23.
Yeah.
So it's like she barely made the average, but you get used to it and you don't realize that she's, 5th in all NCAA women's basketball in points average. So you're watching something special right now. And then Seneca Hackley, 15, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. Kaylani Polk, 7 points. And then 5 rebounds, which no assists for her. Again, that feels weird. Although most people won't have an assist in a game, right? Especially, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players, 4 other players that played with no assists. But it feels weird for her to not have an assist. That speaks to how good she is with handling the ball and just like distributing. But I think this game, I mean, it got you into the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. You've clinched. You're in. So it doesn't really matter what happened in the game. Although I do think one thing that they struggled with in this is just like scoring. I think Bakersfield came out and knew kind of that they were also on the verge of elimination. But, I mean, that's how it's gonna be, especially in the later half of a Big West season,
Yeah, no, it's tough. Like Bakersfield, they're going to this game just to play spoiler, and they got we beat them earlier in the season, and I think Bakersfield, had that in mind and had this one kind of penciled in on their calendar a little bit. Oh, we want to get the Highlanders back, kind of spoil their season a little bit. But yeah, like you said earlier, I totally agree with you. I think the Highlanders, just if there's one thing you could nitpick here, it would be kind of their scoring the ball. I think Bakersfield kind of keyed in on Hannah Wickstrom and Seneca Hackley a bit. They kind of knew where the Highlanders were kind of want to go, and there wasn't really anyone else kind of that was really doing too much damage for the Highlanders on offense, right? You had Chicano with 8, you had Polk with 7, but for the most part, I think Bakersfield did a really good job of kind of limiting Wickstrom and Hackley, because like I said, 24 kind of feels a little low for Wickstrom, and recently with the way Seneca Hackley's been playing, 15 feels pretty low for her too.
Yeah, and then you kind of got lucky in the fourth quarter to shoot 21.43% and then have them go 0 for 6.
Yeah.
I think if they make any of their baskets, that's a completely different game. But I think the takeaway is fired up a little bit more on offense in the latter half of the season, especially going into the Big West tournament. But then you also have probably one of the best defenses in the Big West, which has held you on to a lot of these games. Let's talk about that Davis game. We say it all the time, just battles. I said it before. Can we get a counter on that too? I feel like, let's see how many times I say it. But playing at Davis is always going to be rough. I know my friend who goes to Davis sent me a picture of the game that day. They had 678 in the crowd, which I hope happens for UCR soon. But yeah, Wickstrom with 31 points. And then it was just one of those games where you need a bigger point spread. Yeah. Which is tough.
It's tough. It was one of Hackley's kind of worst shooting nights these past few weeks, right? Only 2 points, 1 for 14 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3. It was just kind of not quite her night, and against a really tough team like UC Davis. I mean, they got a 14-3 record in the Big West. It's going to be hard for, even it's hard to win games with just Hannah and Seneca, but with just Hannah, it makes it even harder.
Yeah, I mean, she still contributed too. Don't want to go all out on her because she still had 4 rebounds and 2 steals, which is that's a huge contribution.
Especially against those UC Davis guards, Ryan Bennett specifically. That was a really fun matchup to watch between those two.
Yeah, and then off the bench, your highest scorer was Michaela Minshaw, and she had 10 minutes. So just points off the bench, again, you need more. You've got 4, 3, 2, and 2 from Minshaw, Chicano, Mejia, and Moreno Tayon. So hopefully you can get at least 15 off the bench. And then you want to get more points from people other than just Hannah. We've talked about it. It's kind of the problem with this team, but I think that's something that they've been struggling with less recently, and I also think that Davis is probably, if not the best team in the Big West, because they've beaten UCSD twice, the second best team in the Big West. So that's an encouraging score, honestly. If you can go into the Big West, you've seen them twice. I mean, I don't think this team loses 3 times to any team. So we'll see how that goes in the tournament. And then Sussex, she always messes us up. Avery Sussex, she had 20. Ryan, you talked about that earlier. She had 19, and then Tegan Young and Nia Epps both had 9. So just, again, you can just tell from the point spread there that they play some real ball. But we held them to 65, which is pretty average score, especially with this UC Davis team. They can really drive it up.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. I think if you told me, say I hadn't watched the game and you told me before the game, you gave me, kind of UCR's point spread, I would have told you, that this would have been, a really probably a bit of a blowout for UC Davis, a blowout win for them. But, like I said earlier, the defense kind of kept us in this one. And I think that's a really encouraging sign going into the Big West Championship, where it's a single elimination style format. And, say you have a slightly better kind of offensive night, you can definitely knock off a team like UC Davis. Like you mentioned, if they're not the best team in the Big West, they're one of the best teams. And another thing that I pointed out that I noted from this, last week of women's basketball, Kehlani Polk, 39 minutes against Cal State Bakersfield, 35 minutes against UC Davis. She's really, building a trust with head coach Brad Langston. I think that's a really encouraging sign that, she's not just a piece, for the rest of this season, but just for her next 2 years at UCR.
Really limited the turnovers in the last 2 games too, especially from a distributor and kind of like for a point guard to limit the turnovers that much. It's really good to see, and a young player too. That being said, we should roll on into Santa Barbara and CSUN.
Yeah,
love that roll on phrase too, man. I'm watching my my grammar now that I'm on these podcasts. But Santa Barbara and CSUN, you've shown that you can beat Santa Barbara. That's going to be a close game because they're a really, really good team. But if you can knock them off with that game, you secure a better spot in the Big West tournament, especially if you win both of those games and then beat Hawaii. I think if you win out here, you're kind of set for the Big West. I think you secure a 7th, maybe 6th spot.
Yeah, potentially. I think at this point it's too late for UCR to kind of grab one of those top 4 spots and probably get a bye into the quarterfinals. But you got to go into this UC Santa Barbara game knowing that you won the first meeting and the fact that Santa Barbara will be fighting for one of those top 4 spots, considering they're going into this one with a 10-7 record. So yeah, the Santa Barbara team is going to come out with a lot of fire. But again, this is a team you can beat. And, like you said, it's a big game for UCR, too, with seeding.
I'm going to say it. That CSUN game earlier in the season was a fluke. I'm calling it from now. I never want to call a win. But you take that win against CSUN upcoming, and you've kind of got it marked off on your calendar. Yeah. You scored 53 points last time. I bet they score over 70 this time. That's my prediction.
Okay.
I bet they try to blow out CSUN. But let's move on to spring sports. You think?
Yeah.
Or do you want to talk about women's basketball a little bit more?
Let's roll right into spring sports. Oh man, I said it. I said roll.
Oh,
you're rubbing off on me.
Oh. Let's go softball first.
Okay.
Let's go softball. They played Team Japan twice. Just a friendly scrimmage. We talked about it kind of last week, but kind of prepping them for the Olympics. Interesting games. Just kind of prepping the girls for the upcoming season. No, in all honesty, I think you're playing the best in the world. We talked about it last week. So you're playing the best in the world. That's going to happen. They don't have the scores posted on the schedule here, but I'm pretty sure the first one was 24-0 or 19-0, Team Japan. But like I said, I mean, you want to say it this time?
We've said it. You're playing the best in the world. You're playing, legit Olympians here, and we've mentioned it before with the softball team, right? They played UCLA earlier in the season. That you're playing the best competition now, and when you roll right into Big West competition, it's going to feel easy.
And then we say that, and then you also played San Diego State, Nevada, Texas Tech, and University of Utah, and then you play Arizona State.
Texas Tech are the best in the
NCAA.
Like,
I mean, it's insane. You can't expect a whole lot out of those games, especially both of the baseball and softball teams are kind of rebuilding over the past few years. I know the baseball team's on a full reset right now, right? So it's to play these huge schools with just tons of players on them. These are high majors, right?
Yeah.
These aren't mid majors.
Yeah, no, these are future MLB players that the baseball team's gonna have to be playing.
This is softball.
Oh, this is softball. Oh, sorry. You mentioned baseball earlier with them being on a reset. So
yeah. But yeah. So again, best schools in the country.
Texas Tech #1. Sorry, my mom's from Lubbock, so I had to shut that out. I'm a Red Raider at heart.
Yeah, well, I'm a Highlander at heart, so we can shut all that down. So we've got Arizona State, Eastern Illinois, and UNLV coming up soon. That's in ASU. That's a tournament right there. Doubleheader against Eastern Illinois and UNLV on the same day, and then you go the next day to GCU and do UNLV and GCU. So we're just doing that until the Big West. Then you've got CSUN on a doubleheader as soon as you get back to the actual West Coast. People like to call Arizona the West Coast. I guess it's barely in Pacific Standard Time, right?
Barely, and they have that. They don't do daylight savings over there. I don't think either. It's weird. Yeah. Weird.
Yeah. Whatever. West Coast, best coast, by the way. But let's talk about baseball. That's what I'm interested in right now because they've had some interesting games. Wagner, you take 2 from Wagner and then you leave a third one on the table, but it was 4-6. And in that 8-5 win, you've got Robert Pitts, the center fielder, with 1 hit, 2 runs though, and that's always good to see. And Jaron Sanderson, 2 hits, and then Jackson Bird, he had 2 hits, had 2 at bats. So that's, again, these are just really, really good stat lines that you see from them as they go into the season. You're going to see games where it's kind of lopsided, where Riverside is going to blow them out. That's what I'm calling it from now. I do this at least twice okay, and then Esteban Sepulveda, he had 2 and 4 at bats. Really good stat lines. I did not see the full game here actually, because I was away, but I did try to watch a little bit of it. So we had a lot of hits in this game. Wagner's no joke either. Just what do you want to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about Robert Pitts, right? You don't want to put that guy on base.
No.
He's got some wheels.
No.
You do not want to put that guy on base if you're playing the Highlanders. And then Jackson Bird too, like you said, really impressive game. He's kind of more of a platoon guy for this Highlanders team, so he doesn't play every game, but when he does play, he can really make an impact for UCR.
Yeah, and then Jackson Bird had himself a weekend there. He had 2 hits in both games, and then Lucas Bonham with 3 hits and 4 at bats in the 7-2 win against Wagner. Yeah, I mean, shout out to the pitchers too. We got David Whittle, Jaden Avina, Joshua Martinez, Halen Jaden Guerrero, Marco. Ooh, this is a real Italian name right here. Di Girolamo, Marco Di Girolamo.
There you go.
And then Matt Hudson.
Did your experience with Andrea yesterday kind of help you with that?
Andrea helped me with some pronunciation there. But yeah, no, these guys 7-2 in a game against Wagner. That's some good stuff right there from the pitchers. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, absolutely right. And some of these games early in the season, the hitters haven't really had a chance in some of these games, but pitchers really doing their job against Wagner and picking up 2 wins this past weekend is huge for building momentum before the conference play starts.
All right, let's roll right into track here. All right, track and field, we've got MPSF championships coming up here, and then we've got nationals. So following them through that, we haven't had anything since the Valentine Invitational, but yeah, are you excited for that? I'm excited to watch that.
Yeah, I'm excited too for both of those MPSF championships and the nationals, but I'm also really excited for this RCC Invitational on March 6th.
Hometown,
yeah. And I think it's going to be, for a lot of the athletes that don't get to, travel, a lot of track and field athletes that don't travel to these kind of big championships, big tournaments, I think the RCC Invitational is going to be a really big chance for a lot of these kind of younger athletes to really show off what they can do.
Yeah, I'm excited. My boy Trenton Jetma's on the track team, or he's on the field team. He does discus. I'm excited to hear about how he does at the RCC Invitational. He's been working on that since like freshman year, so that's exciting. And then let's talk about tennis. Men's tennis took a 7-0 win against Ottawa and Arizona. That was real fun. That's good to see. Always like to see the tennis teams win because, I mean, they're going up against the best of the best. We talked about it before. LMU, Hawaii, Oregon, some of these like really top ranked teams. Andrew Levine, I'm pretty sure he's a freshman. He did pretty good in the doubles. And then singles, he did really well in the singles too. So it's good to see the freshmen. Shout out all the freshmen. I'm a freshman. I'm a freshman. So that's not weird.
It sounded a little weird. I knew you were a freshman.
Isaac looked at me with a concerned face right there. Shout out to all the freshman athletes showing out against guys who aren't freshmen.
There you go. Way to put it.
Yeah, had to backtrack there a little bit. And then women's tennis, you play Santa Barbara and Portland. Those are two really tough teams. Santa Barbara, you took an 0-7 L, and then Portland, you go 3-4. I mean, just again, two tough teams, huge schools. So, what do you want to say about that?
It's tough, right? Because you lose to Santa Barbara, 0-4, so you don't get to those, doubles games, and then, you don't get to those singles games. Excuse me, they play the doubles first, and then you got to go into. Sorry, who was it? They played Portland. Yeah, they lost. They played a really tight one, beautiful to Portland, and then not having those kind of singles, kind of experience. You're a little rusty, going into that game against Portland, but really tough. Really gave Portland a really good battle. That's, like you said, a really good women's tennis team they got over there.
Yeah, and you take a doubles game, so that's good. You took your number 2 doubles, and then let's see, singles. You took. Rami, you took a singles game, and Kay Kato took a singles game, and then was that it? That should be all 3, right?
Yeah.
Or no, Crystal Kim took a singles game, and then so that's kind of all the spring sports, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll talk. I want to talk when we get back into spring sports, when basketball ends in the coming weeks. We're going to talk about the seniors here for senior week. Hopefully next week, I think. That's their senior week, or is it the week after? Do you know?
It should be next week, just because that's when the season ends next week.
Okay.
Regular season ends next week, so they'll do have like a little homecoming with all the families and stuff.
So that'll be super fun. And then we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about spring sports pretty much all after that, because all they have is Hawaii after that.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for watching Highlander Hot Talk Basketball. I'm Seth Myers. That was Isaac Solnick. See you next week.